Jennifer, and I go to Saratoga High.
And I'm Victor, and I'm a sophomore at Lynbrook.
And we're going to be talking about the internet. So why do teens always seem to be on the computer? I'm sure that's one of the most commonly asked questions that parents have. Well, basically, it's a lot of fun, and there's just a lot of things you can do on it because the internet is so vast and so big. Like, for example, you can do your homework, do some research, or you can play video games, or you can communicate with each other through IMing or through Facebook.
So when your teen's on the computer, he's probably opening up these websites: Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube. Facebook and Twitter are social media sites in which you can update your status or and tell other people what you're doing. While on Tumblr, you can post things that you find interesting. It's a blog. And for YouTube, you can look at videos and upload your own videos.
So how do teens spend their time on social media websites? So when we surveyed our teens, you can see most of them said they chat with friends. So by this, you can see that teens hold social media holds social interactions very important, and they can also discuss their homework or follow other people and share their photos and read the news.
So we sent out a survey, and in the survey we asked teens, how much time do you spend on the internet for academic activities? 52% of our respondents said that they spend, or 52% said that they spend more time on non-academic activities than on academic activities. However, there is a contrast with what the parents' view of what we do on the internet is, because many parents believe that we spend way more time doing non-academic activities, and this shows that it's not entirely true. So why is Facebook so popular? Well, first of all, Facebook isn't necessarily a bad thing. You can have academic groups to help with your studies. For me, I'm in a pre-calc group online and a physics group, and it's also a fantastic way to keep in touch with your friends. If someone's out in New Jersey, if your cousin's in New Jersey, you can chat with him whenever he's online. And if your friend just went on a trip, he can post photos of his cruise to Hawaii, and you can experience the trip with him. And it's a fantastic way to de-stress when you're playing games. So we asked teens, how much time do you spend on the internet? And most teens said that they spend between 2 to 4 hours. And while we asked parents, how much time do you think your teen spends on the internet, they said between 3 to 5 hours, although several responses said that they had an 80% certainty that their teen spends upwards of 10 hours a day on the internet. So there is a ridiculously large gap between how much time the teen thinks they spend and how much time the parents think they spend.
Okay, so we asked teens, can you limit the amount of time you spend on the internet? And over half of them said they can, while only 7% said they can't. So this shows that we know what we're doing online, whether it's even if we're spending 5 hours, we understand what we're doing, even if it may be a lot of time for some people, but we're limiting ourselves. However, and then we asked them, does the internet affect your productivity? And most of them said a little bit to moderately. And this may seem like it's conflicting information from our previous slide, which said that it doesn't really affect our productivity, but affecting our productivity, affecting our productivity and limiting what we do is different. We accept the consequences of not having it, not being 100% we accept the consequences of not doing our homework all the time on the internet or playing games. So we have a couple of drawbacks, unfortunately, and one of them is privacy. So anything you post on the internet is easily seen by anyone and everyone. And even if you take it down, people will still have it like in their memories, and it may be shared by other people, so it can still be on the internet even if you take the original one down. Second, it's also like a really good way to procrastinate because it's so big and there's so many things to do on the internet. It's like really hard to like stop. Finally, there's like a lot of like inappropriate or adult content that parents don't want their children to see, and many teens probably don't want to see either. However, there are some benefits, and one of the biggest benefits is that there's a lot of information on the internet. Like personally, I do a lot of my research on the internet, and we even have like an online database our librarian recommends us to use to do like our reports. And you can also learn about like current events because the internet, you can upload like news very quickly and very rapidly, so you know what's always going on in the world. And it's also a good way to talk with your friends. Like Victor said, you can talk to people like your cousin in New Jersey. It's just a good way to like de-stress and cure boredom because there's so much stuff you can do on the internet.
So the internet does have some drawbacks, but the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. If you can create a set of guidelines that will guide you and help you use the internet wisely. Parents don't seem to understand how long and why and what the teens use the computer for. A lot of the time, they see our usage of the computer as like completely non-academic. Like for me, sometimes when I'm doing my homework, I'm working and then I get bored, I'm tired. I switch tabs to Gmail, and then all of a sudden my mom walks in and she's like, "What are you doing?" And then it's not that great because then she thinks I'm not focused while I'm just taking a break.
So basically, parents should like trust their teens on what they're doing on the internet, and then as long as it's not like dangerous to your teen's health, or she's like staying up till like 5 in the morning doing homework, parents should trust their teens. But at the same time, teens should trust their parents and respect their parents for their parents having respect for them, and they should be open about what they're doing on the internet, or else you can't really establish like a clear communication. And you should know like what each other is doing in order to establish communication. And now Dennis will introduce the next two speakers.
Hi everyone. So basically what you guys kind of want to take away from Jennifer and Victor's presentation is that internet does have its pros and cons, and I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, procrastination is something really, really bad, right? But if you think about it, the pros are that the students can do a lot of research, get a lot of information online, and if you look at the cons, all of them can be solved if parents and teens work together to use the internet in moderation. Like procrastination can be solved if teen uses the internet less, if you guys are able to set up guidelines for how the teen uses the internet. And really it's just that parents and teens need to work together to figure out these guidelines. And so now we'll be talking about more specific areas within the internet, such as video gaming, which Nick